Okay, so let's go ahead, start by getting a new page, and let's add our apple in. So to do that, you are going to, this is where your layers live here. So this one has a white background right now. And then this one here has transparent. So I would go ahead and let's put the apple on the transparent layer. Or actually you can put it on this bottom layer here and erase later. Let's do that. So 3 dots, and you're going to do the download button. You're going to go to your photo, and there's your apple there. Now let's just resize it. So you just pinch with your fingers to resize. And I'm just going to put mine off to the side so I can reference later. So check mark. Okay. So now we are ready to draw. But a couple of things that we need to know. So obviously these brushes are all going to create a different effect. This is going to be more like a fine point marker. You can actually change the size of the brush by clicking here. And this is going to adjust the size. So this is showing you that black dot is showing you what the size of it will be. Okay, I'm going to turn that up all the way here. The other control in here is the opacity. So for instance, if I want to create a line, you can see that it's nice and it's dark. Opacity is how see-through it is. So if I want it to be like, a little bit see-through, I'm going to adjust that, and notice it looks like a lighter gray. Now when I layer over top of it, where it layers over top, that area becomes darker, as you see. Okay, so that's going to be a really good tool for you to use as well. So I'm going to undo that. Okay, so I'm going to turn the opacity up all the way. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. And the first thing that we want to do is I'm going to make sure that I am on this top layer, not drawing on the apple layer. And I am just going to look at the outline, the contour line of that apple. So I know that we might think an apple is just a circular shape, but it's not. Kind of has bumps on the edges. So you're just going to start with the outline there. So that's an okay start. It doesn't really look like much yet, but it will. I'm going to add in the rounded part there. Kind of see. And my stem. If you are really, really struggling with this, take this apple and make sure you're on the correct layer. So I want to be over top of it. And actually just trace around it to help you kind of identify the shape of the apple. You can see I'm rushing here, so I'm getting it a little bumpy, but that's going to help you out, okay? You also want to keep in mind where this shadow is as well. So if that's something that's going to help you, go for that, okay? So now I'm going to zoom back out, and once you have your general outline, and you might do that and you're like, oh, I need to fix this area over here, and you might take your eraser tool and kind of reshape that a little bit, okay? So I don't like this side over here. All right. So now we're going to work on trying to fill in all of these same lines as the apple. So I'm going to do that by selecting my color, and I'm going to actually start by mapping in the lightest colors first, which are going to be the yellows, okay? So you can adjust your colors within here to get what you want, slide it around, okay? But I want to make sure I'm at this yellow. And I'm just going to leave it at this, okay? So now I'm going to come in and I'm going to switch my brush. I like to use this paintbrush if we think about we're using a digital painting. And I am just going to map in this apple. Now notice when I start doing this, I'm not just going straight up and down. I'm going to go around with the shape of the apple. So I see this yellow apple curving around. Yours should curve as well. So an apple is rounded. I'm showing that shape. Okay, so now you can start mapping in some of your other colors, okay? Oops, I have no idea what I just did. Okay. So now I'm going to pick the next color and I'm going to move over to, oops, not my orange, but a red. And I'm going to start mapping this color out. It's most of the apple. I'll probably have to go back in and add more yellow. But once again, notice I'm going in the shape. So I'm curving the lines around. Okay, so now from here, I'm going to start blending my colors together. So I'm going to use the blender tool, which is here. You can still change those settings a little bit. So notice when I blend that compared to here, it's going to have a much different effect. Okay, so go with what your style is. So I'm going to turn this down. Oops, I'm going to actually turn it up. And I'm going to just kind of blend those colors together. Now, you might decide, oh, I don't really like some of the way those look. So you might try some of these other tools as well. This brush is going to be good for getting nice thick colors in there. But this watercolor brush, so it's going to allow you to create thin layers over top of it as well. But just really make sure that you blend together. So I'm going to blend this together a little bit, and then we'll chat here in a sec. Okay, so I've overlapped and layered this a little bit more. Now I'm going to start adding in the shadows. The opacity is going to be your best friend for this. Bring it around. And now you're just going to continue layering and overlapping until you have the desired result. Now, as you use this brush tool, it will mix together with some of the other ones, which is kind of the cool part about it. So just continue to swap your colors, change the sizes, change the opacity to get that achieved look that you want. So continue to work on this. One of the other things that I'll speed this up so you can kind of see how I finish it up, but you will add a shadow in here and do something unique with the background, okay? So you can just watch me finish quick.